Could the Minnesota Vikings trade J.J. McCarthy this offseason? According to Adam Schefter, it could happen. Let's talk about the why. The Minnesota Vikings have them set up in quite the interesting quarterback conundrum. Sam Darnold has been balling out and been playing arguably some of the best football in the National Football League, while you have first-round pick J.J. McCarthy on injured reserve, unable to play due to a torn meniscus that he suffered back in August in the first preseason game against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, when you kind of take a look at everything encompassing, it's such an interesting dynamic. The Vikings just moved on from Kirk Cousins, who had a high-priced contract, and they have J.J. McCarthy, who's going to be on average $5 million a year over the course of his 4-year rookie deal. What they didn't expect was Sam Darnold to play at a borderline MVP level, and that has raised a lot more questions, because the idea of having J.J. McCarthy is to get a Sam Darnold-like performance out of him. So when you have that quarterback there, do you get rid of him? Now, this isn't necessarily going to be a place and time where we discuss the merits of keeping Sam Darnold versus J.J. McCarthy, but it does raise questions, and there are a lot of them that are going to be coming out. One, if the Vikings end up keeping Sam Darnold, what do they do with J.J. McCarthy? Where does he go? Does he stay? Do the Vikings trade him? Now, none of this is pure. None of this is real talk. Some of it's just speculation, and we're going to get a lot of that rampant speculation over the course of the next few months. But one interesting element that ESPN's Adam Schefter brings up on a radio show that he did earlier on New Year's Day is that the Vikings, he believes they will get calls on J.J. McCarthy, and he believes that they could get more back or as much back for him as they gave up, meaning a top 10 pick and a couple of day 3 picks, because the Vikings did give up picks 128 and I believe 187 to move up to go get him at 10th overall, because they were at 11. And those 2 picks to the Jets ended up sealing the deal. Now, is that a good move for the Vikings? Should they trade J.J. McCarthy? We can have that discussion on a later date. But it's interesting, because if the idea is to get a Sam Darnold type performance out of J.J. McCarthy, why would you give up the guy who's already giving you the Sam Darnold performance? The only real answer is money. But if you decide that money's not a factor here, which they have the cap space to pay him if they want, and that's going to be the huge caveat. There's a lot of ifs here. But if they end up choosing Sam Darnold, J.J. McCarthy, as Adam Schefter also alluded to, would be the top quarterback in this class. I think he's going to probably end up grading better than Cam Ward, better than Shedeur Sanders for me. And the big thing with McCarthy, there's a lot of untapped potential because they didn't do a lot of things that he's really good at Michigan. Would the Vikings be willing to take a couple first-round picks, a first and a day 2 pick, a first, fourth, and a sixth, and then you keep Sam Darnold? But what does that contract require for Sam Darnold? A lot of variables here. But one thing is for certain. The Minnesota Vikings are in a great spot because they have 2 quarterbacks they believe can be the franchise guy. I'm Tyler Forness with A to Z Sports. Skol Vikings.